Hello and welcome back to the Lore Raider. I must admit, in my previous video discussing power scaling in Prime 1, I overlooked perhaps the most important thing to come out of the game. The thing that shakes up Metroid scaling to its core. The Chozo Ghosts. Now today on the Lore Raider we'll be discussing the Chozo Ghosts, their lore, and what it means for our favorite bounty hunter scaling. The first thing I want to note about the Chozo Ghosts, or rather discuss, is what it means to be a ghost at all in Metroid. The Chozo themselves state in their scaling logs that, for them, dying simply means moving past the illusion of life, and moving to a realm beyond both time and space, a textbook fifth-dimensional realm, where from this realm, stated by the Chozo again, normal reality is fragile, frail, weak, and vulnerable. This actually lines up very well with the lore of Phantoon. He is described as a multidimensional being, and more importantly, so large and powerful that one dimension can't contain his entire being. This now makes sense. Phantoon would otherwise shatter the fragile dimension if he tried to fit in it, which is an extremely casual feat, by the way, if your mere existence would shatter an entire dimension. It is also worth noting that for the Chozo Ghosts, and by extension Phantoon, to move in a realm with no space or time, then they are by definition immeasurable speed, which immediately makes my last video on the subject of speed outdated. Good job, Lore Raider. It isn't just ghosts that can affect and perceive other ghosts. You know, in Talon 4, the Phazon somehow managed to pierce this veil of space and time and did two things. To those it didn't fully corrupt, it forced them into a dimensional flux between space and time. And for those it did fully corrupt, that we called the Turned, it outright dragged them back into real space, as we see in-game. Meaning the Phazon can not only perceive these higher dimensional beings, it can hurt these higher dimensional beings and move in their realm as well. And it doesn't stop at the Phazon either. The space parts are also able to do the exact same thing. As we see in their log entries, the Chozo Ghosts were harming the pirate operations planet side, but the pirates were able to launch a counteroffensive and kill ghosts in response. Now, some of you might think perhaps the Phazon dragged the ghosts down to its level instead of everything scaling up to the ghosts' level, but we know this simply isn't the case. In Super Metroid, Samus is able to quite easily kill the Covern. Covern are Chozo Ghosts lumped together into one grotesque super ghost by Phantoon. No Phazon required, given the Phazon disappeared from the universe after Prime 3. Not only this, but whilst using the X-ray scope in Super Metroid and the X-ray visor in Prime, Samus can actually track the ghosts even when they're jumping to their higher dimension, meaning that she can perceive them and their movements in the place beyond time and space. You can't really argue that as not being immeasurable, my friends. In conclusion, Metroid Prime 1 might just be the most important game for Metroid scaling, full stop, period. With it, we can prove that things from the lowly space pirates all the way up to the great Samus herself are immeasurable speed, and that most beings in Metroid are capable of either killing or harming 5D beings with relative ease. In effect, making Metroid a higher dimensional franchise, going as far back as Zero Suit Samus, believe it or not, who reacts to and defeats the ghostly Ruin test back in Zero Mission. But that's all from me now. What do you think? Is this shaking for you, or do you think there's some problems in my observations? Let me know down in the comments down below. But until then, be safe, be wise, and as always, please pray for true peace in space.